energy for you. Just little sips. Well, that's not very polite. But you do have a point. The cup could be cleaner. But it's not dirty because I'm a recluse who never has company over. Oh, on the contrary, that cup might be a little grimy because seekers and dreamers flow in and out of here like this is an international airport. 10, 20, 30, sometimes more in a single day. That's a lot of dishes to wash, and I have much more important things to do. Wouldn't you say? What, you think you're the first to discover my dream den all the way out here in the borderlands? I'm sorry. You do deserve to feel special. And there are things that are special about you. Just not this. No. You are not the only one of your species on a vision quest to find the future. The question is, which future are you looking for? You've come here to see the future. That's just a little general and vague, don't you think? No, I'm not totally offended by your question. It's a legitimate question. Of course you're grappling with that issue. Of course you need to know why someone with so much wisdom and magic, someone with the coveted holy grail abilities of oneiromancy, reading dreams, gazing into the future, is hiding out here. Patience. I want to make sure I give you a satisfactory answer to that question without unduly encouraging you to drop out of your current waking life and running off to the margins of the dream dimensions. Because dreams, I'm out here because dreams thrive here in the hinterlands. Because here in this space, I can hear the dreamers dream. I can hear myself dream. And there's a hell of a lot of bliss to be found in that. Besides, I got tired of paying $3,000 a month for a studio apartment with no off-street parking and a view of my neighbor's bathroom window on one side and a brick wall on the other. Not much dreaming about that. Does any of that resonate with you? I foresaw that it would. Well, You've had some time to think now. So, do you think you could get a little more specific about which future you're seeking? Well, there are so many futures to choose from. Let's see. Assuming we're talking about here on Earth in this waking world and not some other galaxy or dream dimension, the futures available for you to peruse include your own personal future, i.e., the near future, next dream cycle, the next 5 dream cycles, the next few decades. Futures that fall under the category of within your own lifetime. That's the future most dreamers are craving a glimpse of, with the exception of science fiction writers. Is that the future you've come seeking? That's fine. That's fine. I agree. It's best to hear all the options before making a selection. It's a good rule to live by. All right. Well, then there's the next gen future. The next gen. The waking realities of your scion, your descendants, your posterity, your successors. Dreamers who are concerned with their own personal legacy. The fruits of their dreams are seeking a portal to that future. Oh, I don't know. They want to see how a movement they founded plays out, or a foundation they laid in place, or philosophy that they seeded. I recommend scrying into this future, the next gen future, if you came here pursuing an answer to the question, will my dreams have any impact after I'm gone? Pose that question to your intuition and wait for them to get back to you. So what do you feel? Fair enough. There's only one other future available for previewing here, now. And that is, yes, the far distant future. But you do realize there are so many distant futures. All depends on the time scale. Are we talking 1,000 dream cycles, 10,000 dream cycles, 1 trillion dream cycles from now? Are we talking about all the way through the infinite loop and back? Good. You should be aware of where you're situated, dreamer, in the infinite scale of things. It's humbling and illuminating. It's motivating, is it not? In any case, due to the potency of the oneirogens I have access to on this plane, I can only in good faith offer a perusal of the distant future 1,000 dream cycles from where we lie now. Unfortunately, the psychedelic telescopes available only extend that far. I know it is a pity. But it's also an opportunity for gratitude. Think of how serendipitous we are to have access to images of any dreamscape. That the current technologies of scopes, probes, rovers, and rangers send back. Are we not serendipitous? And the gaps in our knowledge, our wisdom, they offer a plenitude of opportunities for exercising our imaginative powers. The far futures beyond 1,000 dream cycles from now are like strangers. We can project anything onto them that we damn well desire. And there's a lot of bliss in that. Well, that concludes my presentation on the available options. To summarize, as an oneiromancer and prognosticator with a limited range of oneirogens at the present time, I can only offer you a preview of the near future, your own lifetime, the next-gen future of your progeny, or the far future of 1,000 dream cycles from now. That's 40 generations of dreamers beyond us. I say only, but that's quite remarkable and marvelous. Who would have ever dreamed? Yes, I am aware that Nostradamus' prophecies extend all the way out to 3797. But have you ever tried to interpret them? I'm not bragging up my own abilities, but I specialize in plain English future forecasts. You'll see. Far more lucid and comprehensible and transparent than Nostradamus. You'll see. As soon as you choose which future you'd like to be yours to see, near, next gen, or far future. That's fine. Take a moment to decide. You mustn't decide impulsively or whimsically, but only take a moment. Because I do have other dreamers waiting for their visions and their foresights and their future previews. You know. You've decided. And what an altruistic, commendable choice. And you're not even a science fiction writer. Okay, let's not waste any time. Is there anything in particular you'd like to see? You know, science, technology, social relations, political and economic structures, space travel and colonization, human health, disease, entertainment like sitcoms or the arts. I do have a few standard categories that most choose from: geography, entertainment, history, arts and literature, science and nature, or sports and leisure, or any combination of these. You know, do you want to know about people? Do you want to know about hobbies, fashion, game shows, 1,000 dream cycles from now? Okay, give me a sec. I haven't had that request before. Okay, so you came here today to see quirky news of the weird from the future. Are you sure you don't want to hear about interstellar travel? Perpetual motion machines, space elevators, AI mind uploading, the singularity, xenoarchaeology or cyborgs, or whether or not the apocalypse happens or how many apocalypses happen. As you like, as you like. Before we access any previews of 3021, I must share with you a brief disclaimer. The images of the future you are about to receive may cause future envy or could be quite disturbing. The future previews you're about to see are by no means guarantees for the future and are subject to change at any time. Do I have your consent to show you a preview of the future, the far future, and to be exact, the year 3021? Perfect. Okay, you're going to need to put on this oneiromancy gear. It's just a little device. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with it. Just a few modifications to help you gaze into the future. Once you put this on, you're going to see an image of a future technology, practice, custom, an artifact, or the like from 3021. And that image will be explained to you. That image will be explained to you in as much detail as is available at this time. First, when you put this on, you will hear a soundtrack of music to get you into the frequency, the wavelength, the zeitgeist of 3021. Because what use is gazing at the future if you can't make any sense of it? You need to see it through the lens of someone situated in 3021. Be prepared to hear sounds that might be a little disorienting or bizarre, or foreign, strange to someone sitting where you are. All right? There you go. you hear my voice? Excellent. Just let me know when you're on the same wavelength as 3021. Groovy. You're on the same wavelength? Okay. You're going to feel yourself go into a trance after hearing a brief incantation, an oneiromantic incantation to evoke the future. Ready? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now entering the year 3021. Welcome to 3021. Relax. That's just future shock that you're feeling. The disoriented whiplash like fog will clear momentarily. You just need to be patient with your processing system. It can barely handle the stimuli of the 21st century, so it's even more defunct when staring face to face with the 31st. Stay calm. It will only take a few nanoseconds for your mind to adjust to this strange, askew world. I'm here to help you decipher and interpret this foreign civilization. Just take a few deep breaths and allow your eyes and mind to adjust. Let's see what we have here. Oh, that's right. You asked for news of the weird. You asked for the, believe it or not, genre of future sneak peeks, and it looks like the Guardians have fulfilled your request. What the Guardians are offering you is a window into 3 of the most underground yet destabilizing countercultures that have emerged to push back against the prevailing culture of 3021. Each of these movements developed to recover the lost experiences, sensations, and feelings that were eradicated as civilization evolved and progressed. To fully process the spirit of any of these resistance movements, you will need some insight into the mainstream culture of 3021. To understand this epoch, you'll need some backstory, a little history of all the turmoil and tumult of the centuries
9 of them were a dumpster fire on a nearly galactic scale. Let's see. What didn't erupt into pandemonium and devolve and degenerate into chaos? Not a whole lot, but you knew that already. Your pop prognosticators got it all right. There's been 900 years of apocalypse upon apocalypse, nuclear wars, catastrophic climate events and all of their devastating ripple effects, cyborg and AI takeovers, not to mention asteroid assaults, plagues, rumors of war, wars, and psychological torment brought on by a spectrum of mind-control technology. A nearly devastating technological singularity, which was thankfully averted. But by 3021, humans have already suffered and recovered from these losses and setbacks. The cyborg wars, the apocalypses, the climate catastrophes are behind them now. It is an ecstatic epoch for most, due to some crucial developments, like the truce between the cyborgs and the humans that granted cyborgs exclusive domain over Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter, while humans have been allowed to live without interference on the rejuvenated Earth. The reduction of Earth's population to manageable levels through natural humane processes. Genetic modifications that reprogrammed humans to be satisfied with what they have and never to desire more than they need. A wide gamut of highly advanced technologies that maximize energy efficiency, optimize comfort, and minimize manual labor to nearly zero, with very strict regulations on the introduction of new technologies. Those serendipitous enough to be awake and dreaming during this time have it easier than any sentient creature or life form has ever had it before. All work has been automated, so the humans of 3021 live in a perpetual state of leisure and perfect health. In 3021, there is only one civilization, one culture on Earth. This civilization calls itself Zamshafel. The closest translation to that is the tranquils, the placids, or the phlegmatics. Zamshafel is a type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale, a stellar civilization capable of using and channeling the energy of its own planetary system. The harnessing of so much star power combined with genetic modifications has ensured that humans no longer experience suffering, pain, negative emotions, or bad moods. The only thing they are capable of experiencing is contentment. You should now have enough of a metaview to process what the Guardians have deigned to reveal to you. The countercultures of this future epoch will make more sense within this context. The first image, which has most likely been dialed down and adapted for your archaic, old-fangled sensory systems. This first image is emblematic of the zeitgeist of the most dominant strain of counter/alternative culture in 3021. The image you see before you is an encoded, iconic one produced by a splinter group whose name translates to something like the stochastics or the rapture of randomness. This image expresses their nostalgia and yearning for luck, fortune, random chance, and the unpredictable. The image symbolizes opposition to the removal of randomness and uncertainty from third millennium life. In the 31st century, there is no such thing as luck, chance, fortune, or unpredictable events, since everything is pre-coded. It's all pre-programmed according to a complex system of algorithms. Every event in an individual's life is determined by the algorithms in advance of their existence. All is mapped out to ensure maximum tranquility so that the trajectory of people's lives is no longer subject to the wild, unpredictable forces of nature, since all natural forces are also controlled by computer programs. While it may not rain in 3021, a fringe contingent of humans are drenched in nostalgia. The stochastics are nostalgic for luck and uncertainty. Characteristics they have identified as the key features of the real human experience. That is, life as they imagined it before everything was perfectly calibrated for easy living. You might expect that your descendants would be elated that they have mastered gravity and all energy forces and sources, that they have defeated all of the icky, unpleasant aspects of being human, the pea soup of sadness, depression, and anxiety stirred by uncertainty about the future. The angsty feelings of powerlessness that fester when confronted by your inability to control events. And most of your descendants are elated that they've been saved from the vicissitudes of humanness. Humanness as we know it, that is. But some glitch in the stochastics' genetic modifications allows them to still experience boredom and the ability to ruminate and reflect. Their flawed modifications have left behind artifact receptors that cause them to crave novelty, adventure, and even danger. They are the thrill seekers of 3021, and their analyses have identified the absence of random chance events as the source of their discontents. The stochastics have grown bored with the never-ending bliss that no bumps in the road life in 3021 offers them. The image you see now is emblematic of a splinter group who call themselves the Azulists. It's a rough translation. The Azulists broke off from the stochastics due to a fundamental disagreement over what the essence of the real human experience used to be. While uncertainty and randomness are seen by the stochastics as the essence of being human, the Azulists are fixated on a different aspect of the original human experience. For them, the source of their intense, palpable nostalgia for the imperfect days is actually a longing for reconnection with shades of blue, the darker feelings. They believe that to feel, really feel human, one must be capable of feeling the downbeats of emotional pain, melancholy, sadness, anxiety, stress, grief, loneliness. Following is an excerpt from their manifesto. Here we are in 3021, where technology has accomplished its ultimate goal of eradicating all negative emotions: sadness, pain, anger, guilt, regret, and all other forms of suffering. We are told to be full of gratitude. Instead, we look back with nostalgic pining on that time of a wider spectrum of feelings. Thus, we dedicate ourselves to reminiscing about the color blue. We are so desperate for that full range of flavors, sensations, and feelings, something to contrast against happy, that we pledge to use any and all available technologies to manufacture emotions, specifically those deep, dark shades of blue. Lonely, number 9. Grief, number 4. Crippling guilt, number 566. Gnawing insomnia, producing regret, number 1. Pure, unfiltered melancholy, to be mainlined, preferably. The Azulists have also rebelled against the privileging of conventional standards of beauty, the standards of their time, and the prevailing aesthetics that have rendered everyone and everything arrestingly beautiful. For the Azulists, it's impossible to experience a full spectrum of feelings when one never encounters ugliness. So, they've created an underground black market of dealers in ugly things and have established speak-easy type spaces where people risk their lives to be confronted by ugliness and imperfection. The last image the Guardians have divided to present to you is a product of a schism within the Azulists. Although the Numakas are the smallest of the counterculture groups of the 31st century, they are the most fanatical. They agree that the ability to feel a full spectrum of emotions is the quintessence of the raw and unmodified human experience. But they believe that their government, a council of computers that has replaced all politicians and controls all decision-making, has suppressed many of the highest notes of human emotion. Based on this belief, the Numakas have launched a campaign to reclaim even greater levels of ecstasy, bliss, awe, and rapture, which they feel cannot be experienced in a culture where spirituality is prohibited because it is seen as leading to division and unrest. In their search for spirituality, the Numakas have completely dropped out of Zamshafel society and have set up a spiritual community in a secret location. For their safety, the Guardians have chosen not to reveal their location or any details about their practices or activities aside from one piece of information. The Numakas believe that the most supreme human emotions can only be experienced through hard work, manual labor in particular. These spiritual seekers value manual labor above all else. Thus, manual laborers have the highest status within their faith, and most acts of worship involve the physical creation of practical tools and objects of art using one's own hands. In fact, one of the cornerstones of their faith is called From the Heart Art, or From the Soul Toil. During these rituals, they engage in ecstatic orgies of woodworking, sewing, crafting, welding, weaving, ironworking, jewelry making, smelting, etc., making as many different types of objects as possible with as much passion as they can muster, using only raw resources and rudimentary tools smuggled from museums and factories. Within their faith, those who can acquire the most manual skills and master the greatest number of crafts are seen as the most spiritually enlightened among them. And that is all the Guardians have to offer you at this time. Before you are transported back to your home time of the 21st century, the Guardians have a message for you. Are you ready to receive their message? Excellent. We, the Guardians, have chosen to reveal to you these facets of the future to assist you in living your life to the most blissfulest, while completing your special mission and ensuring your legacy. What you have been shown is not just a window into the future, but a mirror reflected on your own era, your own culture, and your own soul. It is our hope that this glimpse into the far future has inspired in you a deeper appreciation for all that makes you extra, specially human. If our work takes full effect, you will leave the 31st century with a renewed affection for the trials, the hassles, the stressors, the pains of your human life. The intention of our message is that you will wake up tomorrow blissed out and grateful that you do not know what will happen that day, or the next, or the one after that. That you will be reinvigorated with excitement and anticipation for all that is beyond your control and all that is unpredictable. That you will have gratitude for the range of blue feelings that enrich and expand your life experiences. That you will Reactivate your hands and apply them towards all of the marvelous things you can do with them. And most of all, that you will celebrate your ability to feel marvel, wonder, and rapture when confronted by the mysteries of life. You are a privileged member of a very special era in human history. No one before you and no one after you will ever experience and feel all that is accessible to you at this very time. Make the most of it. The guardians wait to delight